Welcome to an amazing episode of An Indian Coach. And in today's podcast, we have Yash, who owns multiple businesses. He is a known face in the restaurant business. He has multiple restaurants, the Bombay Canteen, O Pedro, and the Bombay Sweet Shop. So, welcome, Yash. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much for giving us the time today. Please introduce yourself.
So I'm Yash. I'm the founder of a company called Hungering Hospitality. We have 5 business ventures, 3 of which are restaurants, Bombay Canteen, O Pedro, and Veronica's. We have a retail e-commerce brand which is called as Bombay Sweet Shop, which is a reimagined mithai brand. And then we have an online food magazine called as Entu Cutlet.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So, Yash, what made you start this journey?
So for me, the journey honestly started 18 years ago. I
Hmm.
grew up in Pune. My dad's a doctor. My mom's an architect. And this was obviously pre-internet, right? So your decision making to get into a career was based on people who were around you, or you read something. So for me, like someone gave me a career book when I
Okay.
was maybe 17 years old, and one of the things that it wrote in that book was that the field of hotel management in India is something that was supposed to grow a lot. And based on that book, I made the decision to get into hotel management, which is a course.
Right.
And I started studying that in a government college in Goa,
Okay.
IHM Goa. So did that for 3 years. Post that, I started working in Bombay. That was my first foray of getting into Bombay. I started working as a waiter at the Grand Hyatt. It was an Italian restaurant at the hotel. Did that for 3 years. Um, Obviously, learned a lot. Learned how do you work in the trenches, how do you understand operations. But working as a server makes you realize a lot about the business. After that, I decided to go do my master's. So I did
Hmm.
my master's from Cornell University in New York. That
Okay.
was a 1 year course. After graduating from that, I started bartending in Chicago, moved from Chicago to Singapore, where I started working again in bars and restaurants, and did that for around 3.5, 4 years. And that was around, I think, 2014.
Oh,
So 2014, I decided I wanted to move back to India and start my own business. And I had met my co-founder Samir at Cornell University in New York.
okay.
So both of us had this idea that we wanted to start an Indian restaurant of today. Like, what does a reimagined Indian restaurant in today's day and age look like? And that's how the idea of Bombay Canteen came about. So Bombay Canteen was our first venture,
Oh,
which opened in 2015. Then we opened O Pedro in 2017. O Pedro, which is a Goan and Portuguese restaurant based out of BKC in Bombay. So we had 2 restaurants by 2017, and we were asking ourselves what should be the next business we launch. And one of the things we were very careful to understand is when we were opening restaurants especially in high risk real estate value places like Bombay, it's all the margins are always very thin, and you're always based out of one location, right? As a restaurant, you're limited by the 4 walls, and your business doesn't grow above those 4 walls.
okay.
So we wanted to get into the product business, but have the same ethos, have the same philosophy that we have, which was celebrating India in any concept that we came up with.
So you have been somebody, I can't say something like, okay, I just decided one day that I want to open a shop. You actually went through the
Yeah, so we've
grind,
gone through the grind
correct?
ourselves
So
a
you
lot.
yourself became a server.
Yeah,
Then you realized that, so that actually helps anybody to do their business,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, it's like even like a trained footballer, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you don't just decide when you're 16 years old that you want to start playing football.
True.
Like it has to be something that when you're 10, 11, there's that inbuilt hunger, passion to just learn it from school and like get into it and then grow about it. I think even the restaurant industry is the same, I
So
feel.
in short, it's about understanding the basics first and
Yeah,
then going into this, right?
yeah,
So if you have to give advice to anybody, you will always tell them that you want to start a new business, make sure that the basics are correct, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So how do you manage these multiple businesses? Like, you have a magazine, you have a sweet shop, your restaurants are, I think, one of the top in Asia,
Yeah.
top 30, top 15
So
Asia.
like if I start about the journey, right? We when we started in 2015,
Yeah.
my team strength was 32 people,
Okay.
right? Today, my team strength is 420 people, right? Now, obviously, in the context of India, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a lot to
It is a
manage,
lot. Yeah.
right? For us, one thing that I always say is we have within us values within our company which we've brought ourselves, and we call it hospitality first. And this was something from day one of our journeys which we brought into the company.
Hmm.
What hospitality first basically means is us as founders treat our employees how we want our guests to be treated,
Got
right?
it.
In Indian terms, we say Atithi Deva Bhava, right?
Right.
Whoever walks into our door at home, you're going to treat them like a guest. So why not do the same with the employees? If you treat our employees with the same amount of respect, integrity, and love that you want your guests to be treated, your employees will treat the guests the same way.
Correct.
So we started with that central ethos with those 30 people, right? And I feel that sense of culture inculcated from day one. It wasn't something we tried to put in it later. And as the team has grown, that value has also grown with us. We have now in the last couple of years also brought in, like, our leadership team has grown, right, which helps me manage my time better. And the way our leadership team always has been is we've been very honest to ourselves to say, okay, for me, when I started restaurants, what was I good at? I knew the front of house. By front of house, we mean the serving of the guest, taking care of the bar, um, taking care of the business element, right? But I can't cook, right? Neither can Samir, my co-founder, right? So we were very honest to say, okay, we need to go get a leader who will manage that part of the business really well. He or she gets the respect, the ownership they deserve. Similarly, as the company grows, you need to start saying, there's this saying that I have, in India, growing up, we used to all be fascinated by a Swiss knife, you
Yes.
know,
True. True.
that Swiss knife, which was that maroon color thing.
Maroon color
It
thing.
had
Yeah.
a knife, it
Open up.
had a, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So when my company was in 2015, I was like a Swiss knife. What I mean by that is I'm handling marketing, I'm
Everything.
handling everything, HR, this, that. Now, as you grow as a founder, as a company, you need to start hiring a sharp knife. What I mean by that is if you open a Swiss knife and there's a scissor in it
Yes.
and you try to cut a paper with that scissor, it'll take like half an hour, right? But when your company is small, it's fine. But as you grow, you have different departments like human resource, marketing. You need to hire a sharp knife for each space, so they are the best at what they do for that, and you take a step back and trust them for it. And obviously you as a founder will give them your way of doing things because that's what's made your company special. But you need to start hiring those sharp knives around you who will help you grow the company. So that's my thing of how do we manage our
So
team.
basically, you're saying that it's like you can't be jack of all things,
Yeah,
right? I face that problem because I have a company, I have a small company, but
yeah,
I face that same problem because if I'm trying to delegate something, and if it is not happening, it's bound to happen that I'll become like that Swiss knife,
yeah,
right?
exactly. And for the first couple of years it's fine. Like I have parked our cars also. Like
Hmm.
we didn't have valet show up, I've parked a car. But it's in that time frame, it is fine. So another thing that you will find as a
Yeah,
founder is every day goes in fighting some fire,
absolutely.
right?
Firefighting is every day,
Firefighting is every day,
every
and
day.
it frustrates you, right? Like you want to, especially in a business world like India, where there are so many outside components that affect your business.
Yes.
Someone comes and strikes outside your thing, water got shut off, no electricity today, and you will be sitting there as a founder thinking, "Arey, am I supposed to fight this fire, or am I supposed to think about how to grow my
Grow the
company?"
business.
And a friend of mine who helps, who mentors me, he had given me this thing saying, I was venting. I was like, every day I'm fighting a fire. This happened, this happened. And he's like, you should reach a level in your mind as a founder to say, your life is all about fighting fires. That should be a basic expectation. But he's like, if you have a team around you, you as a founder will have to decide if there is a fire in the pan of in a kitchen
In a kitchen.
versus if there's a fire burning down your warehouse. As a founder, where is your priority?
So basically, you're trying to say we need to set our priorities right.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So
So now uh, we went through the